Get to our best bets for the two championship games. What do you got?
Yeah, I laid 120 at DraftKings. Lions team total over 20.5.
I like it.
That's the thing I feel most confident about in that game is that the Lions will score points against the Niners defense that I think is really, really vulnerable on the back end. I think you can make the case that if Debo doesn't play, maybe the Niners do struggle and maybe they will not go over their team total. Maybe they will not cover. But I think either scenario with whether the Lions score points and get up on San Francisco and hold on and win, or the Niners offense is humming and the Lions need to score left and right to keep pace. I think both options give you a pretty good path to 21 points with Detroit. Yes, I know that Sammy brought up in the group chat about the indoor-outdoor splits, but like Will was saying, the weather's going to be fine. It's not going to be 25-mile-an-hour winds. It's not going to be 18 degrees. It's going to be beautiful. It won't. If I lose this bet, it's not going to be because the Lions played outside. It's going to be because the 49ers defense actually finally showed up for the first time in quite some time.
The Niners defense isn't as good this season.
That's the thing. They have issues in the secondary.
Saying now, when they show up, I don't think that's.
Is that a personnel deal or is that a schematic deal going from D'Amico to
I think it's
Wilkes?
both. I think that D'Amico was obviously an excellent defensive coach, but they don't rush the passer as well. They're not as good rushing the passer. They don't have that. They have obviously Bosa, but he has not been as good this year. Chase Young is not as good as kind of and then inside they're not as good this season. The Lions have a really good offensive line. They have an all-pro center and who's a little beat up, all-pro right tackle, Taylor Decker. I mean, they have a good offensive line. That could be the Lions win this game as their offensive line. I wish there was a wager to make on the offensive line, but being really good. But I would their offensive line is really fun.
We need
to
get that book next year. We need to have a sports book.
I don't know what it would be like the Geoff Schwartz offensive line wager of the week.
We need the odds to win the Joe Moore Award for college.
Oh, I'll tell you right now, the favorites will be LSU and Oregon for next season, heading into this season.
LSU with the kids transferring out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe LSU and Oregon. It wouldn't be Washington. They have no more offensive linemen.
How many did they lose any more starters from the depth chart?
I send you that every week. Their left guard just committed to Ole Miss today. They don't have.
I know Miami was in.
Will Rogers came back.
Miami was in on him too. Yeah. Like how does Mario not get an offensive lineman?
Your offensive line's not bad in Miami though. You're okay. It's all and Ole Miss is paying everybody. We know that. It's legal.
I know
legal.
I
might as well make that money. All right.
That's what you wanted. You wanted NIL to basically pay kids to transfer in now.
It's good for Oregon, buddy. We've not talked about this very quickly. Jim Harbaugh.
I was going to bring this up.
Went to the Chargers. Love it for Justin Herbert. I love it for the NFL. Jim Harbaugh won at San Diego.
Yep.
He won at Stanford. It's hard to win at Stanford.
He beat USC, 15, 16 games after they went 0 whatever?
Well, they were 41 point underdogs in that game at Coliseum. 41 points, by the way. It's a lot of points. He won at San Francisco and he won at Michigan. Mm-hmm. He's going to win in Los Angeles.
Now, do you think it is? My question here was, is it a quick fix or is it going to take some time?
So the cap situation is not great.
Correct.
They have some older players.
Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Eckler, right?
And Khalil Mack. They're making a lot of money. But you have Justin Herbert. So you have that piece already. The draft is interesting because at 5, Brock Bowers feels like the perfect fit for what they need to do.
Harbaugh's offense with Herbert and Brock Bowers.
But Harbaugh might see Joe Alt and get very excited.
Yes.
The tackle from Notre Dame. So I'm kind of curious how they go in the draft. But I also think, too, the Harbaugh hire brings credibility to the Chargers, who are an organization that nobody believes is credible, right? I'm a fan of the Chiefs. Obviously, I've watched Chargers play for years. I grew up in California. The chargering is a thing, right? Because they lose games they should win. Every fan base sort of has like that team, right? The Chargers, in the Pac-12 was Washington State. They coog everything. The Chargers, they charge everything, right? Harbaugh should get them out of doing that. He's a legitimate coach. He's bringing over Jesse Minter as his DC most likely. They mentioned Greg Roman as the OC. I'm not the biggest fan of that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I'll tell you what, the wild card OC is David Shaw. He interviewed for that job. I think that's the wild card OC. He was his OC at Stanford. That's a walk-on OC. That'd be great.
That would be a great. That's a David Shaw. That would be a good hire.
Incredible.
It's because someone asked me that question the other day about Harbaugh, and I said, like, the issue with the Chargers hasn't necessarily been the personnel. It's been there's been no identity. It's been Brandon Staley making bad decisions, inability to close out games, finding ways to lose. Now, if they can make a couple of decisions and decide who they want to keep, who they don't, like, he's won every, like, they're going to be prepared. They're not going to make stupid decisions. Correct. Like, and that division, and you worry the division too. It's like the Raiders. I mean, obviously now with bringing in Pierce, and they played better with him.
They don't have a quarterback.
The Broncos, you don't know. I mean, yes, they have Sean Payton, but you don't. I mean, they need a quarterback now as well, and we'll figure out where they are and kind of are they in a rebuild? Or where are they? And you got the Chiefs with Andy Reid, so you got a pretty good division now in terms of.
Yeah, I don't think Harbaugh's afraid of that though.
No, not at all.
No, not at all. And I think Sherrod Moore will get the Michigan job.
Yeah. I'd be stunned if he didn't, because that's like the best ending resolution to all this for Michigan, because you keep a guy who's coached some games, he's been there for a while, he knows you're going to get some penalties, but at the same time, you're not going to lose guys in the portal because they're going to stay with Sherrod. It's not going to be like what happened in Alabama when Saban left, or in Washington when DeBoer left. Like, they're going to play for more.
Yes.
So they're Michigan is in the best possible spot. I think, given that they kind of knew all along that Harbaugh was going to leave.
Yeah. So Sherrod Moore will end up, I think, being the guy that's a good hire for them. All right, I got to finish up my best bet here. Before I do that, though, for the last time this season, Bear, it's not too late to play the free Fox Super 6 game for championship weekend. Just download the Fox Sports app right now and make your picks for a chance to win your share of $10,000 in weekly cash prizes. All right, my best bet is Patrick Mahomes over 4.5 rushing attempts.
Yep, I like that.
I didn't go with yards. I mean, yards he might get.
Hope so.
But I know you have him over as well. He had 6 last week, including 4 kneel downs. He had 2 against the Dolphins. But this feels like a game where the pressure the Ravens are going to bring, the man coverage and no one being open, it's going to be a full kitchen sink Mahomes game. He's going to have to run the football.
Yes.
And this could even be a game where the Chiefs use him. And we've seen it times in these games. They use him in the speed option game. They use him in some move the pocket type situations where he's out in the open. So over 4.5 rush ups. Again, the kneel downs count. So there we go, Bear. We did it.
All right, we did do it.
Yeah.
Got to get back home and work on that Super 6 column.
I know.
For the final time this year.
Yeah, you seem excited. Good for you. Yeah.
Bear Bets full episodes drop twice a week right here on the Bear Bets YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to stay ahead of the odds, and let's celebrate all of our wins together.